caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the...
What's up, guys? Lance, the Obscure Movie Guy, coming to you once again with another fun-filled, fact-filled video that you probably won't care about, but we're going to do it anyways, trying to change the world one post at a time. Now, it's been a hot minute since we've done a good old-fashioned fan film, so that's exactly what we're going to do today. This one was sent to me a few months back by Samuel Schmucker, and it is a Friday the 13th fan film, and it's gotten some pretty good reviews, and it's making some waves online, and Samuel Schmucker just announced that he's going to be making a sequel to this film. So let's dive into today's video. Today we're talking about Jason in Indianapolis.
Eyes ablaze, heart as cold as stone, driven by a voice that's pushing him along. Echoes of his mother ringing in his head, a haunting reminder of the blood they shed. Every step he takes with purpose and dread, in Indianapolis where his path is led. From the lake to the streets, he's on the prowl, haunted by the past, can't break free now. His mother's words, they cruelly bind.
Go find the house and kill anyone that tries to stop you.
No rest for the wicked, no place to hide. When Jason's on the hunt, terror's his guide.
Jason's in town? Huh. Well, this girl is not going out until he's caught or gone. In fact, I'm going inside right now.
Infamous Jason, who's been known to cause trouble wherever he goes.
In Indianapolis, death's in the air. Machete in hand, he's got that stare. Running through the silence, you can feel the despair.
And in a hockey mask, a man they claim to be Jason.
Through the alleyways, shadows in the night, screams echo loud under pale moonlight. Silent predator, all fear his name. When he strikes, it's more than a game.
So Jason in Indianapolis is basically a story about Jason moving from Pennsylvania to Indianapolis. And while I say that, it does kind of sound like it would be a comedy. It's not. It's definitely a fan film done in a very traditional Friday the 13th type setting. But the basic plot is that Jason is leaving Crystal Lake, kind of has a like a dream or hallucination, but he basically has a conversation with his mother, which was actually casted pretty well. His mom telling him about his childhood home and that he should go back there and reside there. And I'm trying to leave that kind of as vague as possible because I kind of want people to see the fan film to get a better idea of the plot. But that's basically what's going on. He's going back to his childhood home, which is in Indianapolis. He's leaving Pennsylvania, and he's leaving a trail of bodies along the way. Now, from a fundamental standpoint, it doesn't exactly check all the boxes, and I do got to give it a little bit of grace because it is a fan film. They're not always done in the most professional atmosphere, so the videography is kind of, it's okay. It's not great. The editing could use a little help. The pacing is kind of slow. But where the movie does shine, it does shine in a couple of good areas. And the first 13 minutes, 13 to 15 minutes of this film was actually really well done. I really enjoyed it. The overall film runs a little over an hour, but the first 15 minutes or so was really well done. It was definitely done through the traditional like motion picture. There's no dialogue. The first 15 minutes basically gives you a backstory of the Friday the 13th franchise, Jason himself, different characters, and it's, you know, played to the backdrop of a really good soundtrack, which is another area in which the film shines. It's got an amazing soundtrack throughout the course of this film. So you got this first 13 to 15 minutes of like telling the story through like actual like motion picture, no dialogue, a really good soundtrack, a really good backdrop, and you get this, you know, you get a really good looking Jason. That's another area in which they shine, is the Jason character itself looks really, really good. Looks really good with the mask, looks really good without the mask. So, and you get to see him both ways. So, definitely has a couple of bright spots. Um, but from a fundamental standpoint, and again, I do give it a little bit of grace. But I mean, yeah, it's got some pacing issues. It's got some editing issues. The videography is not great. There's some audio issues. But that first 15 minutes and that soundtrack to this film and the way Jason looks, they nailed that on the head. And like I said, the pacing is a little bit slow. Like I said, the film runs roughly a little over an hour. I think this film would have actually been probably would have worked a lot better as a short. You could probably tell the same story with roughly 20-minute runtime versus the hour runtime. There does seem to be a lot of filler, and a lot of that filler is just Jason himself kind of walking through the woods, walking the streets. They did want to kind of give the illusion that he is on this long trek across country. But again, the overall storyline probably could have been condensed a lot as far as a pacing aspect goes. I will say though, from a fan film standpoint, one of the cool things that I really did enjoy about this, and I think this is where a lot of people also enjoy the film, is from a fan film standpoint, he was able to get a lot of independent horror actors to kind of chime in a little bit on this on Jason moving from Pennsylvania to Indianapolis. So throughout the course of the film, you do kind of get these news headlines of potentially Jason and leaving a trail of bodies and another person murdered here and another person murdered there. And Samuel was kind of filming this around the same time Indianapolis was having a horror convention. So he was able to get some of the people from the horror convention in town to kind of, ad lib a little bit, their thoughts of Jason coming to town. And he's got a lot of cool independent artists that were able to chime in. People like Mel Heflin, Dee Hefner, people that we've seen and we've talked about on my channel before in various different films. So really cool aspect of that was able to go to the Indianapolis Horror Convention, kind of get them to ad lib, like, hey, what do you think about Jason coming to Indianapolis? Some people act surprised. Some people didn't act surprised. Some people were like, let's get the hell out of town. Mel Heflin got to play one of the news anchors at one point. So that was a really fun aspect of the film, and a perfect integration of exactly what a fan film should be. He's a fan of Jason and the Friday the 13th franchise. He's a fan of these actors and actresses that he got to participate in his film. So that was a great culmination of the fan film aspect. And one of my other points of contention, we'll kind of flip flop back and forth here a little bit. There is the body count is kind of high for a fan film, one that's also roughly an hour long. But most of the kills are done off screen, which again I can kind of understand because they're probably done onto little to no budget. Maybe they didn't have available special effects artists or anything like that. So a lot of the kills are done off screen. But the special effects that they do use, like with the makeup department and bringing Jason to life, Jason looks really good. Hands down, one of the better. I mean, he looks better than some of the Jasons in the actual franchise films, to be honest with you. It's a really good makeup of Jason. And like I said, you do get to see him with and without the mask. So they did put a lot of effort into that. But unfortunately, most of the kills are off screen, so there's very little to no blood or gore or anything like that, which I'm kind of okay with in a way. I don't mind kills being off screen, but you have to have at least one like shock killing in a good horror slasher. And sometimes that shock killing doesn't necessarily need to be in the nature of the kill. Like you don't have to have a lot of blood and guts. But sometimes it can just be a certain character in the film, and you're like, oh crap, I didn't think that guy was going to die. You kind of get that shock value anyways. Unfortunately, there isn't any of that with the kills. Most of the kills are just kind of random. Their characters are kind of throwaway characters, realistically. They're there for Jason to kill, because that's essentially what he does in the franchise itself. So, again, kills done off screen, not a huge deal, but, it is just an observation that I made. So I think at the end of the day that this is a pretty decent fan film, and I think Samuel Schmucker did a really good job of representing the character as far as the way it looks, the storyline. Um, the soundtrack is amazing. Jason looks great as far as the actual character goes. I think it's really cool that he was able to get some of these independent film actors, horror actors, Brandy Lynn Dalton, Mel Heflin, Dee Hafner, Bill D. Russell. There's a number of them in there that he was able to get at this horror convention to speak and be in the film. So I think it was really cool. I think it was well executed. I think it was everything that he wanted it to be. I think he shot high as far as trying to go for a feature. So it does suffer in the pacing a little bit. But I think overall, um, you can definitely feel the love and the passion that Sam has for the franchise and the character itself. That definitely comes through on screen. And like I said, he's announced that he's getting ready to try and start doing a second one, a sequel to this. So, guys, you can go on YouTube and look up Jason in Indianapolis and watch the full length feature fan film. It's got over 3,000 views currently, and it's been making waves on the independent film circuit. So definitely go check it out and look it up. Like, subscribe, and comment to my YouTube channel. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram. I'll see everybody in the next video.